My name's Ben Kohler. I was a senior operations analyst at a fast-moving logistics company in Chicago called Fleetwise. Before that, I came from a town you'd miss if you blinked, population under 2,000. My dad ran the hardware store. Mom taught high school math. We weren't rich, but we had pride. They taught me that hard work was everything, not handshakes or smooth talk or politics. Just do the job right, and results would speak for themselves. I took that seriously. Graduated with a double master's in systems engineering and applied logistics. Got hired at Fleetwise straight out of grad school. It was my dream job. I wasn't some tech bro or corporate climber. I just wanted to solve problems. First year in, I built a dynamic inventory model in my one-bedroom apartment that saved the company close to $2 million. Nobody asked me to. I saw a gap and fixed it. I didn't ask for a bonus, didn't expect a parade, I just kept working. Then Dominic walked in. New division head, Armani suits, fake grin, MBA from some overpriced school in New York. He introduced himself like he was a celebrity, not a manager. First meeting we had, he said, "You've been doing good work, Ben. I'll make sure the higher-ups see it." I actually believed him. 2 weeks later, he pitched my inventory model at the board meeting like it was his brainchild. Didn't even bother changing the visuals. Just slapped his name on the title slide. I only found out because someone from finance forwarded me the minutes. I went to him after, closed the door behind me and asked straight up, "Why'd you present my system like it was yours?" He leaned back in his chair, all calm and smug, and said, "You helped with the numbers, Ben. The concept came from a team brainstorm. I pushed it up to HR, showed them my original files and emails. Their response? That's chain of command. You used company time and tools, so it belongs to Fleetwise translation. Shut up and stay in line." That's when I started to understand how the place really worked. It wasn't about who did the work. It was about who had the mic when the credit was up for grabs. You could bust your ass and move mountains, but if your face didn't fit the image, you were just support. After that, I noticed everything. Dominic always brought the same people to meetings. Loud talkers, ass kissers, people who used the word synergy like it meant something. Real contributors got pushed out of the spotlight. I watched it happen to Leo in sales, Meredith in compliance. Same pattern. I started staying later, not for praise, but so no one could twist my work behind my back. I logged everything, every file I sent, every spreadsheet I touched. I still believed if I just worked harder, someone would notice. Spoiler, they noticed. They just didn't care. I started coming in Saturdays, Sundays too. No overtime, no backup, just me and my laptop in a half-lit office with flickering overhead lights. I brought my own coffee, kept a blanket at my desk for when the HVAC shut off after hours. While everyone else spent their weekends at rooftop bars or lakefront runs, I was buried in back-end routes, international tariffs, and live delivery data from 6 border points. The idea was simple: build a routing system smart enough to predict cross-border delays and reroute freight on the fly. I'd modeled it down to the minute. Delivery errors dropped by 26% in the pilot. Fuel costs, customs fees, all slashed. The savings were ridiculous. I had the charts, the documentation, the raw test runs to prove it. I spent 4 months prepping the pitch. Not just numbers, storylines, visuals, a breakdown by department. I even flagged risks and lined up pre-approved fixes. No fluff, no jargon, just real solutions. When the invite for the Q3 leadership strategy meeting landed in my inbox, I was ready. The morning of, I wore a damn tie. That's how serious I took it. I made it to the conference room hallway, hand on the door. Dominic stepped out and shut it behind him. "Hey," he said, holding a thumb drive. "Tight agenda today. I'll present the key points." I stared at him. That wasn't the plan. "It's fine," he said, brushing past me. "I've got it." He didn't. I watched through the crack in the blinds as he clicked through my slides like he'd just skimmed them that morning. No context, no delivery timing, no pilot data. When he got to the most important part, dynamic rerouting through Monterey, he called it an idea we might look into down the line. Then he moved on. Afterward, I asked when we'd circle back. He said, "Soon." We never did. 3 weeks later, Ren showed up. Ren was 24, barely out of undergrad, but she had a startup hoodie and a fake sincere laugh that worked like magic on every VP. Her LinkedIn still had typos, no supply chain experience, no logistics background. But she did have one thing, the last name, Keener, as in CEO Henry Keener. First week, she shadowed people. Second week, she kept asking me about routing logic and border stuff. I was polite, gave her basic answers, figured it was harmless. Week 3, she booked a boardroom. Big reveal, the calendar invite said. I stood in the back while she pitched Crossroad A. I dash a new frontier in predictive border routing. It was my system. Same logic, same corridors, same Monterey reroute. She renamed it, slapped on a Canva logo, and added a Spotify playlist to the end of the deck like it was a TED Talk. Dominic sat in the front row, smiling like a proud dad. By the end of the meeting, she had a team, a pilot budget, an email blast congratulating her on breakthrough innovation. I walked straight to Dominic's office. "She stole my system," I said, door half open. Word for word. He didn't even look up, just typed something into his laptop. "Ren's version aligns with leadership's priorities," he said. "Yours didn't." "That's the same system I've been building for 4 months. Ben," he said, finally glancing at me, "sometimes the right idea needs the right voice." That was his whole answer. No apology, no denial, no shame. I sat at my desk that night, the lights off, monitor glow bouncing off the walls. I pulled up the files, ran through every step I'd taken, every line of code, every updated report, and I saw it clearly. It wasn't just Ren. It wasn't just Dominic. It was the whole game. They weren't ever going to respect me, but they'd feel it when I left. I didn't rage quit. I didn't flip desks or send dramatic emails. I just stopped giving them my best. I went quiet, kept doing my job, the bare minimum of what they could measure. While on nights and weekends, I started over, from scratch. Built a new system on my own gear, using no company tools, no company time. I filed the LLC under a throwaway name, rerouted everything through a private cloud, logged every stolen idea with timestamps, dates, and versions, built a record airtight enough to choke a lawyer. Then I started reaching out. Tamsin, Leo, Meredith. All of them had been pushed out or shoved aside the same way I had. Tamsin told me how Dominic lifted her patent proposal and passed it off to a strategic innovation group. Leo said his entire Southwest region client strategy, the one he pitched in Arizona, got handed to some junior exec and repackaged as a leadership rebrand. Every person I called had receipts. Every one of them was ready to burn it down. So, we got to work. Tamsin brought her routing algorithms. Leo had a CRM model that outperformed Fleetwise's by miles. Meredith knew the legal minefields and how to dodge them. 2 others from finance and ops joined quietly, fed us internal mess-ups and contract violations. We used Slack, private servers, burner emails. No one on the inside had a clue. Then I met Gail Iverson. She was a VC from Denver who'd backed 2 major logistics platforms. We met in a quiet cafe near Navy Pier. I showed her everything, not just the system, but the team, the vision, the numbers, the client list we could flip. She didn't even blink. "I'll fund it," she said, "but you better be ready to move fast." We were. We signed NDAS the next day, filed our patents the next week. New brand, new entity, new stack, all locked down. Tamsin handled the tech paperwork. I handled the roadmap. Leo lined up the meetings, and the meetings were wild. 5 pissed-off clients, big ones, sat across from us, jaws clenched, phones off. Every one of them had a horror story about Fleetwise, missed shipments, hidden fees, leadership arrogance. I pitched them the new platform, faster, cleaner, customizable, no layers of red tape, no BS. All 5 wanted out of their contracts. We didn't even have to sell it hard. Fleetwise had done the work for us. I kept showing up to Fleetwise, playing dumb, answering emails, attending meetings like I cared. Dominic was still parading Ren around, like she was some kind of logistics prodigy. She walked past my desk once, holding a copy of my old pitch deck, smiled and said, "Hope there's no hard feelings." I said, "None at all." Because the truth? We were already winning. They just didn't know it yet. All I needed was a stage, something public, something they couldn't spin or bury under another email chain. That's when the award dinner announcement hit my inbox. It was laughable. They were honoring Ren for innovation in adaptive routing. Perfect. I RSVP'd that same day. I showed up 10 minutes early, no tie this time, just jeans, a black jacket, and my laptop bag slung over my shoulder. Security checked names at the ballroom entrance, clipboard in hand, radio crackling on her shoulder. Monica from marketing was standing behind her again, same fake smile face as always. She spotted me and didn't even blink. "Sorry, Ben," she said, like we were old friends. "We're at capacity." I raised an eyebrow. "I RSVP'd 2 weeks ago." She shrugged. "Room's full. Can't let anyone else in." Behind her I saw the flash of camera lights, people clinking glasses, Dominic laughing like he was actually funny. Ren stood near the stage in a sleek navy dress, holding a glass of champagne, surrounded by the same execs who'd cut me out of every call for the last 6 months. I didn't argue, just stepped back, sat down on the hallway bench, and opened my laptop. No hesitation, no second guessing. One email, already drafted. BCC'd to 42 names. Fleetwise's executive board, legal counsel, their top 5 clients, 3 competitors, 2 industry reporters, and 1 freelance journalist who hated corporate corruption more than anyone I've ever met. Subject line, formal resignation. Legal and client action attached. Attached, patent filings, system logs, NDA agreements, screenshots, team rosters. A pre-scheduled press release set to hit every inbox at 8 a.m. sharp, and a clean list of which clients were terminating their Fleetwise contracts, with signatures. I hit send and walked out. I didn't look back, didn't wait to see if Monica would flinch, just walked out of that marble lobby like it meant nothing to me. I was halfway across the parking garage when I heard my name. "Ben!" "Hold up." It was Vincent, VP of Ops, suit coat flapping behind him, face flushed, phone in one hand. He jogged to catch up, tried to play it cool, but I could see the panic behind his eyes. "This was a miscommunication," he said. "If you'd come to me sooner..." I cut him off. "You were the one who stopped inviting me to senior meetings. You're the one who nodded when Dominic said Ren deserved the platform. That wasn't personal." "Everything was personal," I said. "You just didn't think I mattered." He ran a hand through his hair. "What do you want, Ben? We can talk title, compensation, equity, just tell me what you want." I looked him dead in the face. "I want you to see what happens when people like me stop carrying your company on our backs." He didn't answer, just stood there in that echoey garage, still gripping his phone like someone might call in a lifeline. I hit the unlock button on my car and got in. By the time I pulled out, my phone was buzzing nonstop. Emails, missed calls. 1 from HR, 2 from legal, 1 from an unknown number I was pretty sure belonged to the CEO's assistant. I didn't answer any of them. I drove straight through the city, windows down, sun barely rising, the lake catching the light just right. For the first time in years, the weight was gone. Not just the job, the fear, the second guessing, the crap I swallowed every day just to keep the paycheck. Now, it was all theirs to hold. I had nothing left to explain. I pulled into the gravel lot behind the warehouse just before 7. No receptionist, no valet. Just a beat-up garage door, a side entrance, and a metal keypad we'd installed ourselves. The inside still smelled like sawdust and fresh paint. Leo's truck was backed up near the loading dock, tailgate down, half unloaded with folding tables. Meredith had brought a box of mugs and instant coffee packs from her basement. It was perfect. No glass walls, no nameplates, no fake open floor layout. Just us. 8 people with something to prove and nothing left to lose. Tamsin met me inside, already sketching new nodes on the whiteboard we'd bolted into the wall over the weekend. She looked up and grinned. "We're already routing mock freight," she said. "South Texas corridor. It's running clean." Leo high-fived her. "Told you the numbers don't lie." Meredith handed me a contract. Signed, sealed, client already onboarded. This was it. We weren't a dream anymore. We were real. We called it Nexus Shift. And it didn't matter that the lights flickered or that our coffee maker wheezed like it was dying. We had a full stack built, 5 live contracts, and a pipeline that had Fleetwise's logo all over it, except crossed out. At 7:30 sharp, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. I stepped outside and answered. Ben Kolar, I said, flat. Silence. Then a voice I recognized from internal videos and board calls. Smooth, practiced, too calm to be natural. Ben, this is Preston Fulton, chairman of the Fleetwise board. I assume you know why I'm calling. I do, I said, and I'm recording. He hesitated. We've been advised not to escalate, but your behavior today was reckless. Define reckless. Mass resignation coordination. Client interference. Intellectual property theft. No, I said, what you're describing is accountability. He dropped the tone fast. Here's what happens next. We challenge the patents, file for injunctions, block client transitions. By the time this gets sorted in court, your momentum's dead. I didn't say a word, just let him talk. I wanted it all on record. You're clever, he went on, but you're not irreplaceable. You want a seat at the table? You should have played the game I built the table, I said. You just didn't see it coming. He went quiet, then dropped the threats. What would it take to bring you back? He asked. Blank check, title, public credit. Whatever it is, I looked up at the warehouse roof, the one we'd power washed ourselves, and shook my head. There's no deal, I said. We're not negotiating. We're building something better. He hung up. I walked back inside, tossed my phone on the folding table, and cracked open a warm can of soda. Leo raised his can to mine. To the company that did everything wrong, he said, and gave us everything we needed to do it right, I replied. We toasted. Our chairs creaked, the ceiling buzzed, the code kept running. We didn't need Fleetwise anymore. We were already back at our desks when it hit. 8 a.m. sharp, our press release went live. Nexus Shift launches with 5 major clients, a founding team of industry veterans, and a platform built on transparency, speed, and trust. It wasn't flashy, no buzzwords, just truth. Backed with names, backed with numbers. At 8:02, we saw the first ping. One of Fleetwise's regional managers viewed the page. By 8:10, we had 5 media hits. At 8:20, Leo's phone rang. One of our new clients got a call from Fleetwise Legal, trying to confirm transition status. Tamsin laughed out loud. By 9:30, the Fleetwise CEO went live. No scheduled press briefing, no polished background. Just him, standing in some back office, looking like he hadn't slept. He tried to downplay it, called us former contributors launching a competing platform. But his voice cracked halfway through the statement. Then he made the mistake of saying, "We remain confident in our leadership team." We took a screenshot. By noon, their stock dropped 7%. Their client support line crashed. And by 5, someone forwarded us the internal memo. Effective immediately, Dominic Ferris has stepped down from his role as division head. No speech, no send-off, just gone. By the next morning, we were flooded. Resumes, partnership requests, former Fleetwise clients asking for demos. One competitor even offered to license our back-end routing system. I took calls while sitting on an old paint bucket. Meredith was balancing her laptop on a case of bottled water. No one cared. We were running hot, lean, and sharp. Then I saw the email. Subject line, apology, from Ren. 3 paragraphs. She said she didn't know what Dominic had done. Claimed she didn't realize the system was mine. Said she admired the work, respected the launch, wished things had gone differently. Maybe she meant it. I still didn't respond. We were already profitable by the end of the quarter. Not just breaking even, profitable. Tamsin's routing platform beat every metric we promised. Leo's CRM pulled in more retention than Fleetwise had seen in 2 years. Meredith kept us bulletproof. We stayed transparent with every client. No vague fees, no silence, no ego. Morale, highest I'd ever seen in my life. People stayed late not because they had to, but because they gave a damn. They wanted it to grow, wanted it to last. And for once I did too. We were deep in final testing for our next platform release when the front door creaked open. I looked up from my screen, and there he was. Vincent. Same slick hair, same expensive watch, same phony smile. Only this time, he was holding a leather folder, not a phone. And behind that folder, his eyes looked smaller, like someone who'd been eating losses for breakfast. "Ben," he said, like we were old friends catching up. "Got a few minutes?" I stood up, didn't shake his hand. "Make it quick." He glanced around. "Nice setup, warehouse startup vibe. Very authentic." I didn't respond. He pulled a chair, opened the folder, and slid it across the table. First page, a number big enough to make most people freeze. "We want to acquire Nexus Shift," he said. "Full integration. You'd come back as Chief Innovation Officer. Board seat, equity package, public announcement." Even though I wasn't good enough for a seat at the table, I asked. He blinked, then did the nervous chuckle people do when they're trying to pretend they're not sweating. "Look, things have changed. New policies, better leadership culture. We've done a lot of internal reflection since you left." I raised an eyebrow. "Reflection doesn't erase what you enabled. We want your systems, your team, your results," he said, like it was a compliment. "We want to work together again." I slid the folder back. "I'll review it," I said. "But I'm not coming back." He frowned. "It's a serious offer." "So was mine," I said. "The day you cut me out of every meeting, let Dominic feed my work to Ren, and watch me eat it without saying a word." He sat still, didn't argue. Probably knew better this time. I stood up. "We didn't just survive, Vincent. We expanded. You didn't kill the spark. You lit the fuse." He looked at the walls, the busy whiteboards, the back hallway where new engineers were already onboarding. "You really built this. No shortcuts," I said. "No politics. Just good work and trust." He stood up, folder in hand. "You'll get back to us?" "Sure," I said, "when it's time to send the rejection." He left without another word. By the end of that week, we signed 3 more clients. 2 engineers left Fleetwise and joined us. No pitch needed. They just wanted in. One competitor offered to license our back-end platform. We turned them down. The truth was simple. We didn't need to be absorbed. We'd already outgrown them. 1 year to the day after they told me to wait outside, I walked on stage. National Logistics Conference. Full house. 2,000 people. Lights so bright I could barely see past the front row. But I didn't need to. I already knew who was watching. I stepped up to the podium, clicked on the mic, and started with the same words they'd used to shut me out. "You can wait outside." The room went silent. You could hear chairs shift. A few heads turned. Someone coughed in the back. I let the pause sit. Then I told them what it meant. I told them what it feels like to be the one who does the work. The late nights, the missed weekends, the unpaid overtime. Only to be told, you're not leadership material. That your voice isn't polished enough. Your face doesn't fit the brand. I didn't use names. Didn't have to. I just gave them the truth. That sometimes the most dangerous person in the room is the one you don't invite in. The one who watches, remembers, builds in silence. And I told them how I took that silence and turned it into something better. Told them about Nexus Shift. About the team nobody wanted, the clients no one listened to, the ideas they buried under meetings and buzzwords. Told them what happened when we stopped waiting to be chosen and chose ourselves. I spotted a few familiar faces in the crowd. Monica from marketing, sitting stiff, staring forward like a statue. Vincent, slouched in row 3, blinking fast, jaw locked. Even Ren, off to the side, half hidden behind a sponsor banner, arms crossed tight. They didn't say a word. Didn't need to. Because this time, I wasn't asking for a seat. I had built the whole damn table. Innovation doesn't come from org charts, I told them. It comes from people who give a damn. I stepped back from the mic. No corporate anthem, no award. Just clapping, real, raw, rising up like a wave. Not because I'd won anything, but because I'd built something that couldn't be taken, renamed, or dressed up in a PowerPoint by someone who'd never put in the work. We weren't just another startup. We were proof that when you walk away from a place that never deserved you and never look back, you don't just survive, you leave them behind.